everyone, and welcome to Zest Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, it's not only an absolute honor, but a deeply heartfelt moment for me as I welcome a truly inspiring guest, JP Horgan, who's someone who's been a consistent supporter on this mission from the very, very start, from providing me with many opportunities to speaking on his own transformational podcast, the Phase 4 podcast, to sharing the virtual stage with many other powerful voices at his exceptional summit. JP is a Mindvalley certified life and business coach, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Next Steps Academy. With his unique blend of positive psychology and heart-centered leadership, JP creates spaces where transformation isn't just possible, it's certain. Beyond his many roles, JP has shown incredible generosity and belief in this journey, and for that, I am deeply, deeply grateful. Thank you, JP, for believing in me before I even knew what I was believing in or what I was even attempting to build. And with that in mind, let's get ready to be inspired by this incredible person, by his vision, his story, and his incredible wisdom that he has gathered along the way. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Shel Marie, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So lovely connecting with you. I know we connect, but this is just really special. Not just as a friend, it's not like a podcast where I just invite friends. I have so many incredible, influential leaders, people that I know all over the globe, and this is why I seem to know so many people on my podcast so personally, because they are more than a friend. They are the people that will give me feedback. They will tell me ways to improve my business, and I am so thankful for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So with that in mind and thinking about all the incredible things that you are continuously doing, I would love to for your insight into consciousness engineering.
Yeah, so it's a good question. What's consciousness engineering? And maybe I'll start with a quote that will help us kind of understand where I'm coming from and how we got to there. But the quote is a John Milton quote from a book called Paradise Lost. And it says that the mind is its own place and in itself can create a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. And it resonates. It was 400 years ago he wrote that book, but it's so powerful still because I've seen both sides of this coin. I was approaching 30 years old. I thought I had everything, married, about to have kids, bought a brand new house, picked out the tiles, the colors, the lot, everything, 2 dogs, 2 cars, driveway, all the things, right? Yeah. Now we just have to wait another 35 years and retire at 65. And then I fulfilled the dream that other people projected on me, the dream I thought we're all supposed to do. And so maybe there was something going on that led me to manifest a tumor in my spine. But I manifested this tumor. I can see it now, but I got this tumor in my spine and it caused chronic pain. I started going to see doctors, taking pills. I ended up on like 33 pills a day. And my life was a living hell. So back to that quote, that's where I was. And then one day I just woke up and said, I'm not doing this anymore. This is crazy. Like, I've been taking these pills for how long and they're not helping. They're actually making it worse. So slowly I came off the pills, traded the pills in for supplements, just changed everything, right? And so now my life is a heaven and I've created both of those realities. I did it, no one else. I'm fully responsible. And so conscious engineering is the idea that we can change our circumstances no matter what. Les Brown said, if you don't like where direction you're going in, all you have to do is turn around and walk the other way.
Absolutely.
So that's what we do.
And And me knowing and hearing that story before, I know for a fact you very much deeply skimmed over that, because I know much of what you are still continuously doing. Like, we were actually having a little joke about this before we started the podcast. This guy is always running. He is running, he is running, he's running, and he is not running from anything. He is running towards things. I tell you that now. And that's where I realize, and correct me if I'm wrong in saying it like this, but that's where I realized that your vulnerability, and not just yours, but I think most people's vulnerability actually becomes their driving force and their strength. And so yeah, I'd love to know what you think about that.
Yeah, well, definitely my company's called the Next Steps Academy, and the tagline is your story is your superpower. And so that's what it is. Something happens when we share vulnerability. And I'm not sure if Brene Brown said it, but she speaks about vulnerability a lot. So if you're into that, go check her out. But the idea of like getting in a group, or even just me and you talking and other people listening and hearing my story, and then people go, maybe they didn't have the exact same story, but they know what it feels like, right? They know that feeling of being stuck in the mind. And once you share that, it's almost like permission for other people to be like, hey, okay, that person's feeling that too. I always relate it to these groups. I facilitate chronic pain groups for mental health, for anxiety, depression, chronic pain. And we always comes up in the group that like, hey, oh, really? You feel like that? I never knew that. And someone else will be like, oh my God, I always thought I was alone. So once you share that in a group, that vulnerability, even without saying it, is just, it's like permission for other people to become vulnerable.
Yeah. I really love actually the way you just said that, because I think there was something really powerful that you just said that was a little bit skimmed over, in the sense of like, you told a massive thing that happened in your life, not your story, your life. And you talked about how you made the decision, enough's enough. And then you said, you went off the pills and you found alternative ways. And you said it all in such an inspiring, empowering way. But actually what you've just highlighted now, which because of the way you told it, can easily be lost in the actual process and what happened to you, is you just said about chronic pain. So like, we really need to consider this right now, especially people listening right now. There's making a decision in the mind, there's making a choice, and there's also the consequence of that choice. It wasn't like you made that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't like you made that choice and then all of a sudden the pain went away. That shows your incredible mindset and your strength. So first of all, I love that you're still supporting these incredible groups, because you are an advocate for that. Like, wow. Because I think we can all read a book, and it's no excuses to people that are interested and want to help others in certain fields, but there's a difference between reading it and living it and going through it. And this is something that you and your story and what's happened in your life, only you can tell that from the heart. So I really, really, really value that and love that.
Yeah, thanks. I think part of that too is like, let's say that group that I teach, you have to go through like a very 3-month intensive training to become a facilitator. There's like 30 people, you're there like 4 hours a day. It's a lot of work to get there. And so they're teaching you how to teach compassion and do all these things, right? By the book, so to speak. But then I can have like another effect where I bring in my actual story, right? Yeah. It's different when someone's just telling you it, or someone can actually empathize. Sympathy and empathy, I think.
Yeah, well, the themes that keep coming up on this podcast. Well, they're not themes, they're key things we need to really understand and address right now. Is they're not the same. They're absolutely not the same, because I've never experienced that. I can 100% now really feel into like, wow, that must have been like an absolutely horrendous time in your life. And to be in a point now for it to be so empowering, that's very different. However, I can't say what that feels like, because I haven't experienced that. However, I can touch on other things. So that's super important what you just said. There's a massive difference between sympathy and empathy, and I like to always see empathy. I don't know what your take is on this, but I actually see empathy as a more empowering perspective.
Yeah.
Of not keeping people in those lower frequencies and making them like poor me, and collecting more evidence of everything going wrong in their life, being like, okay, wow, you did this, right, what are we gonna do next? Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm with you. Then it's like, now what? Okay, everything happened. You got divorced. You got cancer. Whatever. Okay, now what? What are we gonna do now? You got people like the Dalai Lama. I'm reading a book called The Ethics for a New Century. I guess it was written 25 years ago, but he talks about it, and he talks about karma is the action that you're taking. So what action are you taking? And he talks about ethics of karma there. Then he talks about ethics of compassion. And the ethics of compassion, when he starts talking about it, is he's talking about empathy. And he's saying, like, we can connect like that because even though you didn't go through my story, maybe you went through something else, but it's the same result. It makes you feel the same way. So whether you got bullied as a kid, whether you had a learning disability, whether you had a breakup, a divorce, somebody die, a car accident, all of these things are different. But the feeling that comes afterwards, we can empathize with another person because of that. So I'm not sure if that explains it. And I just realized I'm probably talking very fast, and I apologize. I'm listening to audiobooks on like 1.7 speed. So now I'm like, oh man.
What did I tell you guys? He's always running. Even in his mind. No, well, for me, you're all good. No, all good. And yes, that was really a golden nugget, because absolutely, that is it. It's not saying that, oh, I have had the same as you, but I know what it feels like to feel that, like, absolutely, I have had enough, and get that fuel and that passion, and use that to like transmute it into something of like, that is it now, I've had enough. We can all relate to that. Whether it doesn't matter what created that, you can empathize and relate to it, and feel what that other person is feeling, and also, depending on what point you're at, know what beauty will come from that. I think that's really important as well.
Right.
And that's why I think the sympathy is not the same, because sympathy is kind of like, I'm so sorry. And then it kind of like it's that really loving relative that's like, you just want to have a day where you feel sorry for yourself and you want to snuggle, but actually you need a rocket up your bottom.
Yeah, I purposely do not say that to people in that group, because I feel like when you say like that, and so that, you're right, that's what sympathy is. It keeps the person as a victim though.
Yes.
Like, instead of, it's not very empowering.
No, not at all. Absolutely 100%. Well, I feel like you've kind of touched on this already, but just to maybe add a little bit more. So when was there a point? Because there's the like, I've had enough. There's the steps taken, which are obviously, let's bear this in mind. There's like 2 forward, 10 backwards, 9 this way, 10 that way. Like, it is not linear. Like, we all know this. However, when was there a point where you kind of, and I know it's a journey, it is not a destination, and we're still like this. Let's all just really, really like understand that right now. But when was there a point where you were like, this is where I'm in alignment now. This feels good.
Yeah, that's a powerful question. So early in like 2019, a bunch of craziness started happening all at the same time. And it happened as I was coming down off these pills. So I went from 33 pills right to 0 with the help of a doctor. So if you have pills and you're coming off, you have to go with the doctor. You could get hurt.
Thank you for that.
But as this started happening, it got really rapid. Um, one thing that happened, I want to say like March 29th. Maybe it was the next year. This guy Nipsey Hussle, a rapper in LA, got shot down, right? You know, like Bloods and Crips. And so I'm watching on the news, and they're driving his um, the casket in the car all around Los Angeles, and there's Bloods and Crips standing side by side, like 3 or 4 deep, lining the streets everywhere, like thousands of people who hate each other, big, huge, tough guys, and they're all crying. And I was like, whoa. I didn't even know who this dude was, right? And I'm like, man, look at this guy and how much of it, like, he meant to the world, and he's gone. And here I am sitting here feeling sorry for myself, wasting my life, and you know what I mean? And so that was one. And then it just sparked catalysts for change. So I'm not sure if there was an exact moment, but I started learning from like Vishen Lakhiani, Joe Dispenza, these kind of people. I went to a Mindvalley event, September 2019, and a week later I put my house up for sale. So if you wanted maybe one point, that might have been the point, but everything changed after that.
That speaker did a great talk, hey?
Yeah, it was good. So that was maybe one catalyst for change. And then, yeah, once, I think also, honestly, it was like, it's so much easier to connect the dots now. It's like, oh, that was happening. I didn't even notice. But it was almost like a last ditch effort of like this painful life and this chapter in my life where I'm like, I'm going to move somehow because I want to close this chapter and I don't want to revisit it really. So I'm not sure. I don't think I answered your question though.
No, I actually think you did on a much deeper level. And even though I know that this isn't a part of your story, I just really wanted to acknowledge what you just said about that rapper, because I know it's not quite the same, but something that really powerfully came to my mind as you said that was when we heard about when there was a war and they stopped to play a football match.
No.
This is the thing, I don't know the full facts about it, so I don't want to. It was one of the world wars. This is really bad that I shouldn't definitely know this. And it's actually a really special day. I think it's Remembrance Day. I literally think it's, please nobody quote me. And yeah, so they stopped the war to play football, and then it all went, obviously the sad thing is it kind of then went back to normal, but they, and I don't know why, but that really powerfully came to my mind when you just said about that rapper, because I just think we really need to think about this. What is it? Okay, because technically is he on any side? What is it that causes this division? But then there's something so powerful where people can, like, that was not like ringing each other up. Hey guys, right? No, today let's just stop this, because like this is something that is just a deep knowing. So I just really want to think about this as the actual world right now. If someone passing can have such an effect on two different opposing gangs, groups, and they can come together for one day, why can't we do this on a much larger scale? So I just really feel like that was really powerful what you said, and I can 100% see how I didn't even know this happened. Witnessing that, knowing that happened, I can 100% see how if I was sat there feeling sorry for myself, being like, I need to get myself moving, I need to get going. And when we're saying this, we're not saying like, oh, you have to change the world. We're not saying that. Everybody in their own life, in their own way, we all have certain desires and goals inside of us. Go for it. Do it. What step can you take today? Make it happen. And so yes, I feel like you did answer the question. I'm just gonna clarify that.
Yeah, can I add to that? Like, you don't have to change
please.
The world, because you don't have to change the world, because if you change yourself, the world will change.
Yes. I love that. It's all perspective, isn't it? And I don't know about you, but again, Thank you, Mindvalley. But I remember going to a Mindvalley event and someone talking about perspective, and it was the first time I heard about perspective of in every single situation. And I really want people to actually be playful and test this. In every single situation, there will be maybe like an overarching, like really bold energy or like something happening. So for example, say people are arguing. Okay, that's quite a strong energy. So people are naturally like, everyone all of a sudden is looking at the people arguing. But I can guarantee you in that exact moment, if you just stop and you look around you, there'll be the polarity of that. And there'll be someone who might have their headphones in and they'll be like looking on their phone or giggling at a text. And so in every single situation, and I'm gonna actually confidently say this, I actually do this now and I see it because I'm consciously looking for it. So I just want it, even if that's just a little nugget for people, just try it, be playful. Next time you see something happening that is basically a distraction, it's distracting you from something that you're supposed to be focusing on, and just test it. See if you can see the blessing, something really beautiful in that situation. It could be the sun shining. It could be anything. So I don't know why that came to mind, but I just felt like sharing that.
Yeah, it's like a yin yang, right? Or the inside, outside, objective, subjective, polarity, duality.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of opposite. And that might be one of those things you were asking earlier. Like, was there a moment? I heard, I don't know, is it Tony Robbins maybe? Somebody's like, how can you take the worst thing that's ever happened to you and make it the best? And so then I just was introduced to coaching at that time, and my pain was going away, but I could see like, this is before COVID, right? And before mental health and before people had Zoom. I had a Zoom account back then, but like, it was just, yeah, it's the yin yang. There's always a little bit of it in everything. And so as you're telling people to look for it in their daily life, even when they're in their own pain and suffering, look for it. Where's the good in this?
Yeah.
Like, there's always a little bit of good.
Yeah, and also I think, what's the lesson? Because I actually think in every blessing, there's still a lesson. In every lesson, there's still a blessing. I honestly really do believe, like what you say, the yin yang. Because, you know, say you're, I don't know, chasing money that someone owes you. Why is that happening in your life? What is that teaching you? Are you seeing it as that person is your provider? Or are you seeing it that I want to prove I'm worthy of this? Like what actually, when we pull that back, because it's not actually the thing at hand, never. Always something much deeper that will be, to you and to me, it'll be very different things. It will look in our life as the same thing, but it'll be a very different feeling behind it. This is one thing I've noticed. And I've also noticed that normally when you are chasing, like, oh no, but my rights and I deserve this, usually when you just surrender and say, do you know what, fine. And I'm not saying this for really big things like, you know, oh, just give up. I'm not saying give up, but just take a step back, surrender, and just see what happens. And usually it all works out fine. I've noticed.
I agree. It's all an illusion, right? You see this happening right now in LA and Trump and all that. Both sides are necessary for, like, it doesn't work if you don't have both sides. And so the one side can be right or wrong. Yeah.
Okay, done.
Right.
Absolutely. But that's what it, like, I'm not saying it's all a game, but like that's kind of seems like the kind of game of it all, isn't it? It's like when everyone really steps back, it's like, what were we even doing?
Right.
So just to touch on, you shared with me so beautifully in your bio, I remember, N90 Protocol and My 5. I just feel like these to me sound like very like mission accomplished. Like, I don't know why, they just sound like really like go get it, which makes me think of you running. I imagine it as an energy drink or something. Holistic energy drink, by the way.
Yeah. The funny thing with Next Steps Academy is that I wasn't running. I wasn't even walking like at that time. I was just
Wow.
starting to walk. So, but like now it's like next steps. Always I'm thinking for everything,
Wow.
right? But now I'm like running marathons and stuff. And it's like, whoa, this next steps, maybe I don't know if that's the catalyst for that or whatever, but it's ironic. So the tools you're talking about, the N90 protocol, this is a perfect time to install this because we're coming into quarter three of the year. We did quarter one and two. I don't know what your plan was at the beginning of the year, but we're halfway through. We have half a year left.
Mm.
So the N90 protocol is simple. You pick four things you want to improve, change, add into your life. For example, meditation, journaling, walking, and fasting. Okay.
Mm.
Now, you rank them in order. Which one do I want to install the most to the least? And so let's say it's walking. That's all we're going to do for 90 days. That's what the N90 is. The next
Wow.
90. So for the next 90 days, we're not going to worry about those other three things. We're just going to do walking. 3 months, right? You heard to make a habit 21 days, 66 days.
Mm.
Let's just do 90 days. 90 days is a long enough time period that you get a good body of evidence if it works, and it doesn't have to be walking. You could learn a new thing, or so
Mm.
let's say you want to learn how to cook Italian food. 90 days is a good enough time where you're not wasting a lot of time if you don't like it, but you're also giving yourself enough of a chance to see if you do like it. So, the first thing on the list, walking. So now after the 3 months, you install the next thing on the list. And so by the end of that second 3 month period, now you've been walking for 6 months and maybe journaling for 3 months. Then you add the third and the fourth, and you keep doing the first three. But by the end of 1 year, man, your whole life will change. So that's the
Mm.
N90 protocol.
Oh,
And
I
then we
love
got,
that. That's amazing. Wow. Really, really great. I love that. And I just want to add in there, just from something you sneakily said. Did you hear what he said? He was not walking when he started this. And now, and I really want you to go and do this because now you know his story and what he's been through and what he is now achieving. When this guy says he is running marathons, he is, right, go check out his videos. He's not just running, okay? He's running and telling motivational stories and speeches as he is running. This is the type of level we are at here. Like, wow. So not only did he go from not even like physically being able to, like, he probably not even imagine it at that point, to actually now he's like, when I say to you, he's like, hi guys, and he's it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I really think, like, other than just seeing the video, you now know the background behind this incredible man's story, and what he is actually achieving is phenomenal. I just really want to put that out there, just off the back there.
thanks. Do you know, have you ever heard of a band? You might know, like the Dubliners,
In from
like an
Ireland.
Irish
Yeah,
folk
yeah, yeah,
band.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so my mom's Irish. So me, my sister, my mom were going to see the Dubliners in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And it was like right that 2019 when I first started coming down and still like walking with a cane. I was in a mobility scooter before that, walking with a cane. And Yonge Street is like the main street in Toronto, right? And so there was an actual marathon happening when we were walking towards this Dubliners concert, and we had to cross Yonge Street to get there. And I remember like just now, like connect the dots looking backwards, the
Mm.
guy ran by me and I was like, man, I wish I could do that. In my head, I just kind of labeled it, let it go, right? Never thought of it again. Now it's like, whoa, you can look back and be like, maybe that started something, right? Because the way the brain works is just an artifact of the past. And so maybe I saw that and then it connects itself together and be like, I want that. Yeah,
That's
crazy.
so powerful. And what I really want to emphasize of what you literally just said, and this is no judgment to anyone who does this, because we also need to be kind to ourselves when we are going through these really traumatic, like what you said, often painful experiences, not just mentally but physically. Um, if you heard what JP said, he didn't say like, I'll never be able to do that again. Look at him. That's a very different perspective and that different outlook. Even in that moment where he had no idea that he'd be able to do it, he just said, wow, if I get your words right, I would love to do that again, or whatever you said. That is very different to even when we think about love, when we see loving couples. For example, if we're like, oh, well, look at her, she's got her everything sorted in her life. It's very different to being like, wow, there's actually love all around me, and I know that there is healthy love in relationships because I can see it. It's very
Beautiful.
different.
Yeah, women do this a lot, right? They'll be like, someone will say, "Oh, your dress looks so amazing," and then you'll be like, "Yeah, yours too," instead of just being like, "Thank you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, wow, it's been. I feel like there's so much more we could like just talk about. I could talk to you forever because I feel like also, which is of course, like we never fully know ourselves. How could we know another? But even in knowing you and knowing your story, there's still constantly so many more elements to everybody, and it's just really privileged and so beautiful to hear more about your story. And I know 100% it is not even just what you went through, but just the things that you have shared are going to be so transformational to so many people listening. So just as a last little thing before we conclude this beautiful co-creation together, because it's not just one way, it's a two-way thing. If you had something right now in your mind that you feel like someone watching would really, really want to know, what would you tell them?
If I had a message to deliver to somebody, what would I say? Well, the first thing I would say is that I believe in you. And maybe you don't believe in yourself, but that's okay because I believe in you. And that's enough to get you started. So part of it we've covered here. Why do I believe in you? Well, I went from there to here. So if I went from a mobility scooter to a marathon, I'm sure your starting point is better if you're listening to this. So anybody can do change if you want. It's up to you. And sometimes I think we need someone to believe in us. You said it off the top, I believed in you. If you listen to the first episode of my podcast, you'll hear the exact same story almost, where somebody catalyzed that podcast that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself.
Wow.
Right. And so I think as coaches, that's our job. We got to hold the vision and the belief for the person until they can. And it's not even their fault. They're here. They want to be here, but they have to close that gap. So we can see it because we know what it looks like. We can hold that vision until they can move towards it and become that type of person.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. And even though I said to you, like, final words or anything, I really want this to be your time, your space. And if you truly feel like there's anything else that you feel like would benefit anyone listening, I really want you to use this opportunity for whatever you feel like you would like to express.
Yeah, okay, so I will. I definitely will take it. I have a podcast. If you're listening to Zen to Zest, which I'm going to actually ask, how did that come about, that name after? But if you're listening to this, you like this podcast, you're going to like my podcast. It's called Phase 4 Podcast. We're right around 222 episodes.
Wow.
On Friday the 13th, we had this guy named Barry Walton. He's the owner of Endless Media. He won an Emmy Award for a short film documentary, 18 awards for that movie. He's done 7 other movies. Next week, we have a girl who started, the week after that, June 20th, we had a girl who started manifesting, and she's actually doesn't say she's spiritual, but she has to be. But she started learning about manifesting and she manifested thousands of dollars in a couple of days, 3 days. Right. And then for episode 222, we have the Ayurveda Alchemy Academy. This girl, if you're into Ayurveda, she's a pro. So that's a Phase 4 podcast. But more importantly, the 6-phase meditation, we both talked about it. I talked about how it changed my life. This is the tool to manifest. This is a science and the spirituality together. When we're going through this certified life coach program, we became 6-phase meditation instructors. And so I was in a cohort with about 1,000 people, and it was the very first time they ever did this. And my idea was like, what we focus on expands. That's the tagline of the podcast. But what we focus on expands. So I said, look, I'm going to open up a Zoom room outside of this certification for anybody who wants to practice the meditation. So for 12 weeks, we connected once a week and we would do this meditation, try different iterations. Everybody got a turn. It was a really safe container to practice. But what happened is we got to learn all the best ways to do it and the ways that didn't work. Plus we practiced it, right? So now I have a course, and the course is beginning July 9th. It's every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time for July and August, from July 9th to August 27th. I'll share the links with you. For your listeners, we're going to do $333 for 8 weeks. That includes a 1-hour live session. Each live session starts with a meditation. We come out of that into a journaling prompt. We write for a little bit. Then we have the lesson, and then we have a question and answer open chat. On top of that, there's an app for it, and the app is full of resources, meditations, books, worksheets, everything. So there's that. Wow. So all of this, 8 weeks for $333 for your listeners. And I think, who would you want to be teaching you that? The guy who said, hey, let's go and do this group thing. We can all grow and get better. And yeah, that's the offer I got for you guys today. But I really also want to know about Zest to Zen. How did that name come about?
So it's funny you should ask that, because it's funny how it starts. We think it's one way, and it really was never that way. It was always supposed to be a different way. So just for anyone who followed during the first stages, where I believe I connected with someone who I thought I was going to co-host with and talk about topics each week. And he used to be a monk. So I was the Zest and he was the Zen. However, as you probably know from knowing me, I am very hyper, very high energy, but I'm also deeply rooted, and peace is my power, my inner power inside. So I actually realize now that I had this idea for so long and I didn't take action. So someone kindly came in, I believe, to hold my hand and then slowly go, nah. And it wasn't like that. I promise you, it wasn't like that. It was all in a beautiful mutual way. He has his own podcast. He has multiple podcasts, and it was just something that just didn't continue. And I remember being like, I really missed the podcast. And then how this happened was, last minute, as we all know, I was hosting this incredible speaking event for these women, like 20 plus inspirational women all around the world. And because I was the moderator, I had to keep stopping them from, well, not stopping them. I had like, they have 5 minutes because they only had certain slots. And they were just getting into their story. And I'm like listening as much as being the host. And then it's like, Shelley, they've got 5 minutes. Someone is telling me that they've got 5. And I was like, oh yeah. So and then I was like, these ladies need to speak. And it just happened that they were ladies at the time. And so I sat with it. And I really sat with it, and I was like, what can I do? And I went, oh my gosh, you've already started it, get going. And I just had this idea, ask them, and within 1 week, I had 9 speakers for my podcast.
Wow. And all because you took inspired action.
Straight away. And when I say to you, within 24 hours, I've never done this, by the way, everyone. I created the theme to the introduction music, the image that you see behind. I created everything within 24 hours because my first guest, after she booked in straight away. I didn't even have a calendar up to that point, by the way. Everything was very word of mouth with me. And yeah, so I saw her booking was like, I was like, oh, I'm speaking with her in 2 days. And it was like, And that's the thing. This is what this podcast is about. I want to show you my vulnerability, my unfolding, because I don't want to sit here and be like, everything was all together and everything was perfect. No, in the mess, in the chaos, that is where the transformation is. So please, people, when you think, okay, once I learn this, then I'll do that. No, do it now. Do it now. And trust me, it will be worth it, because now, and I'm sure it's the same with you, I don't even see this as something actually external to me, because I have these beautiful conversations all the time in my life. And I always used to be like, I wish someone else had this amazing conversation. Hello? You were saying this your whole life, and now you've actually connected the dots and realized you can do it, Shelley. Create it, make it happen, like what you said. You are the consciousness engineer of your life. Make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Did I ever tell you how my podcast started?
Come on, share. Let's do this.
Okay. It goes to your story. That's why. So a tornado ripped through, like, from Toronto, Montreal. That's like the whole length of England probably. And so we lost internet. And because we moved, we're living out in the country now a little bit. And the internet was gone. They're like, you're not getting it back for 3 weeks. We're like, what? Anyway, I had these first two guests were already booked, right? Same thing. And I'm like, uh-oh, what do I do now? And I'm like, you know what? The universe is testing me. It's seeing how bad do you want this thing? Because you could easily say, look, the tornado came through, and the people would be like, yeah, no problem, we'll reschedule. But I was like, no. I went to the library. I booked a room in the library. And then, in a library, you can't really talk. You have to be quiet.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, so they have these like blocked off rooms, beautiful, overlooking the lake, and just beautiful wood panels, right? But you can't talk. So I go to set up my stuff, and I get on the phone call, and the second I start talking to the person on the other side, I could hear the echo from the wooden walls coming on. And the audio is horrible. So now what do? Do I use it, or do I I don't know what to do. It's a really good conversation, but my end sucks. So I was like, whatever, we're doing it anyway. So I did it. At the time, there was no such thing as ChatGPT or AI or nothing. Now I found an AI that can clean up the audio like a year and a half later. So I went back and cleaned it up. It's still bad, but the idea there to me was like, this is definitely felt like the universe testing me. And yours sounds similar. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Wow. Someone listening to that, this is not just us telling you a lovely story. We're telling you this for a reason. Amazing. And what I love is like, you found a solution. You found a solution.
There's lots.
Yeah. And you know what? In those moments as well, we're not saying that, like for me, there was this fuel, there was this creative fuel, and I was like, I can't even tell you how it all happened. I just knew what to do. But in those moments where maybe you are really finding it, you have got in, maybe not nice thoughts and things trying to keep you, trying to tell you you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you can't do it. Just be kind to yourself. Be so kind to yourself, and just be like, I'm in control now. Listen, I'm leading the way, and even if it's not gonna work, I'm having a go anyway.
Yeah, because those thoughts are just lies, right?
Exactly.
Every single time, let me tell you a quick one. Every time I go running, every single time, I have a certain distance or time I want to do, and my mind's like, you're not going to do that. You can't finish that. You gotta, and like, it used to be like I wasn't sure, right? And I would still always finish, but I wasn't sure. I was like, is that true? Now I know it's not true, and it's still there. Yeah. So those thoughts and the voice, it's never going to go away. Maybe it will for some people, but it doesn't seem to be going away for me. But it's just funny, right? Because you can now, like you're saying, just sit there and chill out and be like, you're just saying that. I get it. You want to keep me safe. You don't like the heavy breathing and lack of oxygen. I get it. We're still doing it.
I love that. And actually, what I heard from that is you're in competition with yourself, no one else. Turn that into fuel. For example, your challenge. I know for a fact there'll be some people, 90 days? Guys, give it a go. Give it a go. What is the worst that can happen? And you know what? Like what you said, give yourself such an achievable target that you will master it. Because we're not saying like, go do something. And I think this is also really important, that make sure it's something, I don't know what your take is on this, that isn't on the basis of someone else's actions. So for example, I said, okay, I want to do a podcast every single day. In a way, I'm kind of setting myself up a little bit to fail, because I am actually expecting others to be in on this. Even though I could have really big belief in myself, I have to have the bookings. So I'm actually kind of a little bit setting myself up to fail. So also be realistic about, like, you have to be the one to achieve it. I just feel like that was maybe an important thing to add.
Did you watch that Intuition is Energy, that little video I made, the speech a couple weeks ago? I know I saw you in the group.
Yes.
I was talking about how May 4th, I went to run a marathon. I wanted a certain time, and I lost my plan. I lost myself because I jumped on with other people. So there was a group of people. They have these things called pace bunnies. They'll hold up a sign with a certain time, and that's what time. So if you want to finish in that time, you go with that group, right? And there's all from 1 hour to 2 hours, 4 hours. I ended up going in with a group that was finishing, and they were only doing a half marathon, and they were going to finish in 1 hour 40, which if they did double, it would be 3:20. But you can't really do the same speed if you're doing double the distance. Anyway, my time was like 3:45. So for some reason, I just forgot. I lost my whole train of everything. And I'm like, oh, that looks fun. And I went and jumped in with them. About 12 kilometers in, I just was done. But it's because I didn't trust myself. I didn't stick to my plan. And because something shiny came along and I jumped on that.
That's really important what you said. And if there's one last thing, and I want you, because this is your podcast, to end with the last thing, but one last thing that I would just like to quickly add to that is, when you think you have your focus, and I did a video on this today because I'm doing a 30 days empowerment challenge, and it's called laser focus, okay? When you think you're like that, you will have, stay focused. And it's not always going to come in like a chaotic, like negative way. It will come like what you're saying, like, that looks fun. Okay, I see what happened here. And if it does happen, be kind to yourself. You are absolutely I'm so happy to have you, not only as an inspirational person in my life, but just all that you encompass. You are an incredible person, and I know so many people are going to reach out to you, and absolutely go and check out his challenge. This is his, your course, whatever. Is it course? Yeah, a course, sorry.
Your course. 6 phase.
Yeah, go. And this is really, because the basis of it, just to add, is gratitude, isn't it? It's gratitude, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, the real quick, the 6 phases: compassion, gratitude, forgiveness. So you heal yourself there, and then you clear all the stuff that's been going around in your head. And you start feeling gratitude, then you can go and create your future. What do you want 3 years from now? What does your perfect day look like? Yeah, so you know all about it.
So powerful. So I know I asked you this earlier, but if there is any last thing that you would love to say before we finish, I would love to hear it. And our viewers would love to hear it.
Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I hang out on Instagram all the time. You can go to Next Steps Academy on Instagram, or the Phase 4 podcast. Alternatively, you can just go to my website. It's called thenextstepsacademy.com. And finally, Shelley, I'm just really grateful for you and what you're doing here, because your message is so powerful. Your energy is zestful, and your Zen-like spirit, is really contagious. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute blessing. And yes, reach out to this incredible man. Thank you.